The following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network. Welcome back to Unsupervised, the Spinoff. This week, your friendly neighborhood hosts give a brief update on the Rona, Hollywood Paul's nude scene debut, and the president playing petty party politics with Charlotte and the governor of North Carolina. From there, it all goes off script as we discuss injustice in general and the black experience in depth. This gets heated and emotional, so have your support animal nearby for this one. Enjoy the show. Are we back? Are we recording?
Is this thing on?
Is this thing on?
Yo, this thing might be on.
Oh, we're recording. We're in the building.
I feel like we're in the building.
Hey, you already know what I'm gonna say then. Let's get it then. Welcome back, people. Unsupervised, the Spinoff podcast, powered only by the Defy Life Podcast Network. We're bringing it back to you guys. It's episode 17. Man, those numbers are getting bigger and bigger, fellas. It's 2 for Tuesdays. It's Mr. Real himself. The Real is back. Your boy M. Dot. I'm here with West Coast J, Hollywood Paul Douglas. West Coast J, how you doing today, man?
Man, recovered. Still ducking and dodging the Rona. Went out in public. Stopped doing that immediately. You know, it was a quick one.
You made a public run.
Public run, in public for a little bit. Went out there with my public on and everything. Was in there for about maybe 18 total minutes. We'll talk about that in a minute.
No doubt. Hey, appreciate that. I'm glad you're feeling better. Hollywood Paul, man. Hey, what they do?
What it do? Just chilling, man. What's good, money?
Hey, man, it's another week, man. Hey, I just want to say, I'm glad to be back with y'all, man. So, you know, I'm doing very well. Highlight of my week.
What's up, bro?
Hey, man. You know, well, you can find us everywhere. We're about to run down the Defy Life. We're about to run down the Defy Life family here real fast, as we do at the beginning of every show. Definitely don't forget to check us out on godefylife.com for our written content, defylifepods.com for our host of podcast shows, defylifegear.com as well. That's where you find all of our gear, our custom gear line. Go check that out and support the network. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/godefylife. People always want to know, how do you best support the network? And we'll tell you to help to continue to make us grow and help us grow. We continue to host events, continue to support the community. We do all of that by the help of our amazing patrons. West Coast J, where else can they find us?
Well, you can catch everything on the Defy Life Podcast Network at Defy Life Pods. Hang on, I'm dying a little bit. At defylifepods.com. And then you can find us on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Play Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and pretty much everywhere else that Regular Scott mentions all the time. Also,
no, speaking of regular, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Drop that. Go ahead, drop that for me, brother.
We got an email. Somebody done emailed us, y'all. We got an email. And the worst part is, we got to push the email till next week. But still, shout out to Regular Scott. You're number one.
Shout out to you.
Love you, bro.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. We got mail. Can't wait to dig into it. Take a look at it. We got a little special event type of show planned for tonight because we got some stuff to talk about. So we're actually going to go away from the format a little bit, but I'm going to get into that in a second. Hollywood Paul, our social media been buzzing this week. Let them know where they can find it.
Man, if y'all ain't been on that joint, you can definitely check us out at Unsupervised, the Spinoff podcast at Facebook.com. Money and I are always on there dropping new little things, little blurbs, little funny sayings, whatever it is, man. And plus, we're giving away a free night's stay at a Marriott location of your choice. So please like, comment, and share for your chance to win that free prize, all right? Because I know a lot of y'all spent up your stimulus money already, but you still want to go party. We're in phase 2, about to be free to roam. Y'all can go catch the Rona and then go back and nurture yourself back to health in this free night stay at this hotel. Just like, comment, and share. And remember, check us out, Facebook.com, Unsupervised Spinoff Podcast.
No doubt. Check us out there. As always, we want to also give a shout out to a couple of our patrons of the week. This week, we are shouting out Roz Lorick and Siobhan Petit. I think I'm saying that correctly. Petit. We appreciate Petit. We appreciate your support, being two of our amazing patrons. We are definitely dedicated to continue to bring amazing content, dope podcast. Our podcast family is continuing to grow, and we could not do that without the support of our patrons. So big shout out from the Unsupervised Spinoff podcast show and the Defy Life family of shows as well. Y'all, we back. First of all, I just want to say, and I don't want to toot my horn too much or toot y'all's horn too much, but boy, I listened to episode 16 about 5 times, man. That is from Hoes to Heroes, the Hoes to Heroes episode. It's a really great episode. If for whatever reason this is your first episode, or for whatever reason you missed episode 16, definitely go back. I beg you to go back and get some of that. That was fire, gentlemen. That was fire. Great work.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, that joint was a good show, man. I listened to it a couple times myself. Because I came downstairs, caught my lady listening to it. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it sounded good, man. It really did.
Oh, no, you caught her listening to it, huh?
Yeah, man. Because she be purposely trying to show me that she listened to it. But she was outside listening, and I could tell she getting into it because she get to doing her hands a lot and shaking her head and agreeing. I'm like, okay, so yeah, she feeling it for real. This is a real reaction.
Right, no doubt. That's what's up.
He said I had to catch her listening like she was sneaking snacks.
Right. No, she sneaks snacks. I have to hide them. So I caught her listening. Definitely.
Speaking of your lady, man, isn't her birthday coming up soon?
Tomorrow.
Oh shit! Hey, happy birthday! Shout out, happy birthday, big ups. You got anything special you want to say?
You know, we've been rocking for a long time, and I appreciate her for just sticking in there and constantly trying to grow. Nothing's perfect, and hopefully we can get close to perfection as possible. I love you dearly, and I hope you have a great day. And 33 is a big age for anyone to turn. You only gonna turn it once, so live it up.
No doubt. Happy birthday, West Coast J, man. What you think about episode 16?
Episode 16 was hilarious, but happy birthday, Cuddles Camille. Woo! That's all I got.
No doubt. Well, I guess that could have been part of our intro as well. I didn't do anything too crazy this week. I upgraded my phone. You know, I usually do this on like phone release day. When the new Samsung joint drops, I usually am the first in line to go get it. But it dropped with the Corona. Everything was so hot and heavy, and I was like, man, I don't really need a new phone. Like I can thug it with the 10. I don't have to have the 20 plus 5G. I don't have to have all that. But you know me, can't help it. I'm a technology head. I knew that wasn't gonna last long, so I got the new Samsung SG. I'm sorry, the Samsung 20 plus G, 5G, all this super stuff. This thing is crazy, man. I can't even begin to tell you how much I'm enjoying it, man. I've had it for about 12 hours now, so it's dope. It's dope.
In that 12 hours, did the 5G give you the Rona?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I thought I got a nice little chuckle out of that as well. Like, damn, I'm putting this phone up to my ear and that shit gonna zap me with the fucking Rona. immediately. Like, so hopefully that don't happen. Hopefully that's not true.
Mentioning phone zapping you with something. If you haven't seen the movie Hell Phone, check it out. Your boy Paul Douglas is in there, where the lead antagonist zaps people with cell phones with shit. It's a sci-fi cheesy movie, and I'm naked in the shower, ladies. I'm naked in the shower, and I actually look good. I look good.
Here we go. Here we go.
Check that out, man. For your viewing pleasure. That's from me to you.
Hollywood Paul is naked in the shower. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all hands. Hollywood Paul is beautiful. He's a beautiful man. He's the dark skinned Mike Lowry. Just y'all know what I'm gonna say. Just diesel nigga. I ain't seen it. He naked in the shower.
Well, I'm not by myself. It was my first sex scene. It was pretty cool. And my girl, shout outs to her, was in the next room. So it was a good, clean sex scene.
No doubt. Hey, Hollywood Paul's in a sex. You know what? I didn't even know this.
Yeah, bro. I had to sign a waiver and all that shit, dog.
During the sex scene, I got another homeboy that's an actor too. I be asking him shit like this. Did your shit get hard when you was in the sex scene?
Yes.
I love it.
And the only way, see, it was a closed set. During that scene, everybody was like basically in the green room area, and it was me, the actress, and the director. And basically, we were shooting way stuff. Now, I'm not shy, I've never been, so I had no problems. And she really had no issue being that vulnerable as well. And we were in the shower and had to be like washing up and stuff, and then we started messing with each other. Well, the water caused a little bit of my eruption.
This one, the water was glistening all over my body.
The suds dripping down her back, and my girl's in the other room. So I'm acting, so I'm believing that I'm really about to smash, right? So I'm like, right. I'm getting in the mode, I'm getting there, and he's like, just go at it, like, not like hardcore porn, but like you're like softcore, like you're really into this chick, you about to have a one night stand, and you're living carefree. So we're going at it. And then next thing you know, here I go, you know what I'm saying? And she looks down, she was like, and she looked at it, right? And I was like, my bad. She was like, oh, you're fine. And I'm like, and then the director's like, well, I guess it wasn't that much of a shock. She was like, oh, no, it's big as hell, but I'm used to this. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Well, thanks. And then he was like, well, I learned a lot about you tonight, Paul. I'm like, yeah, I guess you did. We just kept shooting. That was the only awkward moment that we had. And my girl, she was cool about the whole thing. She knew I wasn't in there trying to get me a quick slip or nothing like that. But
right.
It was all professional. It wasn't nothing raunchy or no slippage. If anybody's none of that shit. She didn't give me a quick handy in between takes. It was real professional, man. We just looked out for one another, I guess you could say. When the camera wasn't rolling, we made sure neither one was uncomfortable. And it was all good.
Yeah, because if anybody, and this is real interesting stuff too, because if anyone's ever seen this, like, there can literally be like 15, 16, 17 takes, all 35 different angles of this one shot. It's like this one scene over and over and over again. And I done seen how, like, so I know, like these are still real people. Like, their bodies are still gonna physically react to what it reacts to.
Right.
And so I just think it's very interesting, like, that some of that stuff really happens on set. Like, sometimes there's slippage, sometimes there's
it does.
It's just
like, I've never cover for this mother. He was method acting.
I never had experience of that on a film set, but I have been in plays where they're like certain. Now, I haven't been the actor casting that role, but I do know an actor and an actress who had a sex scene on stage, and they did, they had some encounters personally off stage. So that moment got intense, and they just went for it and did that shit on stage. And
wow.
When they got off stage, they kind of kept it going. You know what I'm saying? Because they were like done for the next like 5 scenes, and they kept it going. It was like a funny thing we all found out at the rap party. But I mean, shit may happen, man. I mean, we're people too. We shot that scene. It took about 2.5 hours. So, I mean, me and that girl got real close for 2.5 hours, standing there naked in the shower. So,
no doubt. That's how
Daniel Day-Lewis on. He was method acting.
I mean, I did. Oh, my girl just walked in. Happy birthday! So we just shout you out on the show, but we're still recording. Anyway, so yeah, now I will say this. The director made me pop a titty in my mouth because I didn't want to do it.
Right.
And then was so awkward about it. I didn't want to do it because, of course, my girl's in the other room, and I'm like, hey, this is my first sex. Are you okay with this? She was like, it's fine. So of course I did it, right? And she was like an A cup, maybe a B cup. So it wasn't really like I was doing much. But anyway, he ended up cutting that scene out. So I'm like, what was the point? He just wanted to see me suck this chick's dick, man.
That motherfucker went full voyeuristic.
Nah, man, because in those 37 takes, lots of different shit happens, and they just splice it and dice it the way they want.
It did. It was, man. But it came out good, man. It was all waist up. Not, the only full body you see, I'm kneeling down. You see of course, we show the girl a little bit to use that sex to sell the movie.
Right.
But I did survive. It was a horror movie, and I was the only black dude that didn't die.
No doubt.
I made some history in that. It's progress, everybody.
I don't even know how we got down this road, but okay, we'll take it. Fuck it. Unsupervised. This is what we do. This is what we do. Oh man. West Coast J.
We're talking about phones given to Rona, and the phone in the movie killed people.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know West Coast J, where was I? Did you tell me how your week was? I think I asked Hollywood Paul how his week was, and some type of way we ended up talking about him doing a porn scene in his movie. I don't know how that happened.
No, you're right. It started with the 5G phone zapping you with the Rona and him giving a brief synopsis of Hell Phone. That's really how that worked.
No doubt. How was your week, man?
My week was cool. Like I said, I went out in public for the first time in how long? Actually, Paul was with me. And the place that I went, basically, I'm a regular at this place, and so they shot me a text like, hey, we're a restaurant. Come see if this works. I'm like, all right. So it was me and a bunch of regulars in there just sort of filling out where we could stand and sit and how far apart to be and where we could be and couldn't be. And so I was in there for about 20 minutes maybe. Mm-hmm. Picked myself up a beer. Had a beer, got a growler. Shout out to the beer growler, Winston-Salem. Did that. Then went back home and ain't left the house since. So on Sunday, though, I did end up sneaking back on Take a Knee because Scott and Oz have the most fascinating communication issues. So Scott hit me again like, I don't know where Oz at, and then like 20 minutes later, hey, Oz right there, but you still want to be on? Like, all right.
No doubt. I had a chance to
Take a Knee. And,
shout out to Take a Knee.
Scott, Take a Knee from Marvel vs. DC. Powered by the Defied Life Podcast Network. You can find them at Defied Life Pods and all of the places I named earlier that Scott normally names.
Thank you.
They actually took a page from our book, and Scott was like, man, y'all were talking about the paranormal. And so me and Oz went on a little tangent rant. Basically the same thing that happened on episode 16 when we started talking about the paranormal. Started happening when me and Oz started talking about the paranormal.
Now you didn't give your goods for the paranormal show coming up to them, did you?
No. I basically just gave them a Cliff Notes version of the story I told on the show.
Oh, okay.
Because I hadn't got a chance to listen to it. Everybody else had stories, and then Oz went into Oz. And he was talking about, what he was talking about. And then we found out that Scott is basically a paranormal agnostic. And he was like, okay. I mean, I don't not believe, but it ain't ever happened to me, so I don't really believe neither. Okay, all right.
Hey, I understand. I get it. Mm-hmm. And listeners, that show, that's one of our main topics is coming. We going to dig a little bit more into that. And I got a lot of feedback about how people were very, very interested in that segment. So it's something that we definitely going to touch on again. Now, it's not going to be tomorrow, of course, but we definitely going to bring it back. We're going to spin the block on that joint.
Yeah, we'll be back for that one. Other
hey,
than that,
man,
that was my whole week.
Well, good. Cause here comes the bad shit. Y'all, first of all, to our loyal listeners, we definitely thank you for being loyal listeners. We're gonna apologize now. I'm gonna apologize. We're gonna deviate from our typical show format to today. We've had a heavy week. We got a couple of what I consider a national crisis going on. One is still the COVID, so we're gonna make a quick foray into that, and then we're gonna take a commercial break, and then we'll be back with what's going to be our main topic, and then we'll tell you what that is on the other side of our commercial break. But for now, let's talk about the Rona a little bit. We're in the also shout out Memorial Day, all the veterans out there. Shout out to everyone that helps defend our freedoms and our rights in this country. A lot of people have given the ultimate sacrifice for every freedom, every liberty, and every right that being an American citizen affords you. So Memorial Day was this past weekend, and I didn't want the show to go by without mentioning that. I definitely didn't want to be remiss if we. I definitely would have been remiss if we didn't mention it. So shout out there. Y'all got anything y'all want to say to the veterans? Anything like that?
Appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for holding it down. Pops, as usual, love you. Thanks for holding it down, brother.
Well, I need to say what's going on to my grandfather. Again, that's 2 weeks in a row he done been brought up, but that's a U.S. veteran as well. So, thank you for your service. Thank you to all of you that are still active and still working. Thank you for everything that you do.
No doubt. No doubt. Speaking of things holding us down, man, the COVID is still out here. We opening up steadily, and cases steadily going up. We don't have to dig too deep into this because we didn't get any super. Well, of course, people are still passing away, so I don't want to say any amazingly shocking news, but we're still seeing cases increase and things are on the corona side are not necessarily progressing in a positive way. However, states are continuing to open, markets are kind of trending up because we're pumping some lifeblood into the economy. You guys have, and that's pretty much all I'll say on that. Do you guys want to just touch on the Rona real fast?
Yeah, like I said, I was out there on Friday supporting local businesses and trying to make sure I understood what the actual guidelines are. Trying to make sure I understood how to, still actively maintain social distancing, because I'm at the point now where I understand both sides of the argument, where I understand team freedom and I understand team stay at home.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I get them both. I get where they're both coming from. I understand why team freedom is upset. I understand why team freedom is scared. I'm somewhere in the middle, and I tend to lean closer to team stay at home, but I know that we need team freedom. So, like I said, it's so I went out just to see what it looked like in a very controlled environment. And I was okay with the controlled environment, but I can only imagine what an uncontrolled environment is going to start looking like pretty soon here.
True. Hollywood?
I'm just waiting to see what happens, man. I mean, it is what it is at this point. We ain't going back. So, people start getting sick and dropping dead. I guess we'll attack it at that moment, as we've been doing it in this country. We'll take it as it comes, because don't seem like we have too many plans in place to deal with certain things. Our president says he's not going to shut anything down again. There will not be another quarantine. Obviously, the first one didn't work, so we're just going to have to make do and get through it as best as we can. Yeah, if people get sick and lives are lost, that's just part of us adapting to the situation, according to our fearless leader. So I don't really have much, man. We just got to see what happens.
That's part of it, huh? We're just gonna have to just grind it out.
Yeah.
We topped 100,000 deaths yesterday. That is
And counting. And counting.
that
Right.
is
But see, this is again why I'm partially team freedom and partially team stay at home. Because the issue with those numbers is that the median age of death is 81.
mm-hmm.
Like if you got 100,000 people and the middle age is 81, like that's the average age. Really, it's killing old people.
To some
If the
extent.
average age was closer to 50, I feel like I'd be way, way, way more concerned.
Well, we knew it was going to kill old people, but old people they don't deserve to die of coronavirus.
No. That's why I said I am in the middle, but I understand both sides. Like I understand why people who are wanting to get out are like, dude, I'm young, I'm healthy. It's not going to kill me.
They're young and healthy, but they're carriers, and it's just not affecting
carriers,
them.
and they take it home and they kill their old people.
Right. So that's also kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
it
is.
That's actually not even kind of fucked up. That's very fucked up.
It is.
But I don't see the validity in that argument, but I do see the desire to want to get out there and earn a living, because you can't survive without one. That part I understand. The other piece of that argument I don't get with it all. Real quick, since we went in that direction, real quick petty party politic moment. So the Republican National Convention is supposed to be in Charlotte in August.
Nice.
40, 50,000 Trump-loving, supporting Republicans are supposed to be here to announce that he is going to run for president again.
Well, that's one of those situations where I would recommend that it is safer at home for black people that weekend.
Now, the president wants our governor, Roy Cooper, to guarantee him that he's going to be able to have a full event Republican National Convention without distancing, without the restrictions that the state currently has in place. The governor has said, I can't do that. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen between now and August. Like, we just had a week where our numbers just went up the most ever. So I don't know. I can't guarantee you're going to be, I'm going to lift so the president says, you need to lift the restrictions. And the governor's like, I can't lift the restrictions. There's a health crisis out here. So just zoom into North Carolina and watch how this plays out. Because the president has in return said, well, if you can't guarantee that you're going to be able to give me a big full convention, then we'll fucking take the Republican National Convention out of Charlotte.
Right.
To which Charlotte was like, fuck yeah, do that shit. We ain't want that shit. We ain't want that shit here anyway. And the and the governor, by the way, our mayor is who submitted Charlotte. So Charlotte was one of the only cities to even submit our name in for this convention. And of course we won it because we're fucking great. But now I'm like, fuck it, let them take it. Take it to Texas, take it to Florida, take it to Georgia. I don't care. I didn't want it here anyway. It's a hassle to have here. But whatever. So coincidentally enough, the Democratic National Convention has already said we're going to do our convention. We're going to have all these guidelines and social distancing and stuff in place. But the president doesn't want that for Charlotte. They want to bring 50,000 people that don't live here, and they're not going to be wearing masks or any of that. So there are real concerns about the public safety, but this has also got a little political twang, and the president's being a little petty when he says, well, if I can't have a full convention, I'm just not going to have it in Charlotte. So I just thought that's an interesting story to take a quick look at, y'all.
I think it's way more interesting that Charlotte was like, all right.
Right.
Well,
That's
because
what caught my attention.
Charlotte ain't Raleigh. You know what I'm saying? Charlotte is not Raleigh. This is a pretty democratic city, if just keeping it 100. So, you know, we definitely have our pockets of Republicans, but you know, this is a big city, and a lot of Democrats live here. So that's it for Petty Party, and we're gonna jump right into our main topic on the other side of this break. Speaking of our break, West Coast, why don't you give us something?
You know it. Y'all stay tuned.
Welcome to the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim. Join us as we discuss the latest in everything from entertainment and current events to the craziness that is our real life.
Let's laugh, let's live, let's talk about it. New episode every Tuesday on the Defy Life Podcast Network. And remember, if you're not defying life, then what are you doing? Lynn and Kim.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. Make sure you're checking out Anything, Everything, and Nothing. Lynn is back. I'm excited about it. They dedicated the show to me because I missed Lynn.
No doubt. I
was
miss
excited.
Lynn. Hey, I miss Lynn too.
I did.
So,
Kim held it down though. She did. She
Kim
did
did
what she
hold it.
could.
Kim did hold it down. She really did. Lynn is amazing. Kim is dope as fuck. That they together make that show what it is. So it was definitely missing that element.
Definitely, they were so silly together. It was so funny.
So no doubt, check them out.
It got real fast though, much like we about to do.
Hey, we about to get into it. Before we do though, let's just go check out the Unsupervised Spinoff gear at the Defy Life gear page, where you can go check out. We got T-shirts, we got hoodies. I'm not sure what our movement's looking like out there, but we gotta see some people in some unsupervised shirts, man. Let's get it. We're actually gonna take some pictures and ours and put them on the Unsupervised Spinoff Facebook page. So definitely check us out. Welcome back to episode 17, y'all. It's about to get super real. So I don't really know. I don't have a format. I don't have. So you're gonna get some raw emotion out of me, and definitely from these two. So we're just gonna get into it. It is. If you haven't been living under a rock, then you are very well aware of the things that have been happening out here. We got Ahmaud Arbery. We got this situation with this Amy Cooper. We have George Floyd, and we have. I think there was a couple other names. I don't know their names right off the top of my head, but I'm sure we're gonna get into it.
Doug Lewis is one of them.
Then there was another gentleman that was, what was he driving? He was driving his car. He led the cops on a high-speed chase, and then after the chase was over, they fucking shot him.
Yep. There was
The military dude. So we're gonna get into it, but check out the Unsupervised Spinoff Facebook page. We have some content out there that is showing the encounter, or at least the portion of the encounter that is recorded from Amy Cooper, who's a pedestrian in Central Park walking her dog, and Christian Cooper, who's also a pedestrian. He's a bird watcher, and he's in the park watching birds, and Amy she's in the park walking her dog. Now, apparently her dog was not on a leash, which is I guess an ordinance of the park, and she was asked by Christian Cooper to please leash her dog, to which she refuses, and he makes a statement to the effect of, well, if you don't leash your dog, then I'm gonna have to do what's next, and you're not gonna like what happens next. Then I guess he pulls out his phone and begins to. I don't know what words were exchanged after that. That's just things I've read that they have kind of both said that they said on like CNN and sites like that. But I'm gonna play the encounter for the listeners just so you can get a glimpse of kind of what happened after that moment, and you can kind of judge for yourself. Once again, go check out the Unsupervised Spinoff Facebook page if you haven't been able to check the video out on any of the media outlets that's out there. But it is definitely out there for you guys to check out. Give me 1 second.
Please don't come close to me. Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me. Please don't come close to me. Please take your phone off. Please don't come close. Please stop. Sir, I'm asking you to stop. Please don't come close to me. Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me. Please don't come close to me. Please take your phone off. Please don't come close to me. I'm taking pictures of the cops. Please call the cops. Please call the cops. I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. Please tell them whatever you like. Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm in the Ramble, and there is a man, African-American, with a bicycle on him. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African-American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the Ramble. Please send the cops immediately. I'm in Central Park for Ramble. I don't know. Thank you.
So, gentlemen, could you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yep, pretty clear.
All right, so let's address this, and then we'll because what? Let's address this, and then we'll move on to George Floyd, and then we're going to tie them together, and how this situation would lead Amy Cooper to hope that she got herself a George Floyd situation. So she made it very obvious in her phone call that her intent was to call the cops. She actually said this out loud. I'm going to call the police and tell them that there's an African-American man threatening my life. West Coast
Call
Jay,
them
what?
and tell them whatever you want, but please call them.
Hold on, West Coast. What is the significance of that statement, in your opinion?
That it's the brazen, blatant. I'm using your race as a threat because I know that when they get here, they'll believe me. Doesn't matter what you say or do. They're going to come help me. White woman is in distress. And it's a black male.
Not hey, cops, I'm in the park and I'm having a disagreement with a guy. She said
my life.
There's an African American man in the park threatening my life.
And my dogs.
And my dogs. Hollywood, what's the significance of that statement?
Well, it's pretty obvious that she's telling him that she's like pulling social rank in a way, and she's doing so like West Coast was saying, like, I'll call them, they'll believe me over you, or it's kind of like a threat, like, if you don't leave me the fuck alone, I'll call the cops. And you've seen social media. You've seen what happens in the news when cops get called on black men. And guess what? I'll tell them that it's an African-American man threatening me. And you know what that means. That means the executioners can come. Like that statement to me, when she said it, wasn't an empty threat. It was a, let me put your black ass in check right now for fucking with me when I'm having a bad day. I'm already dealing with this dog, and now you're fucking with me? Shut your ass up. I'll call the cops and tell them it's an African-American man threatening me. You know what that means. They'll come here guns a-blazing. So you need to back off, leave me alone, or else you could die today.
Yeah, you know the worst part about it is the fact that she said before she called.
Or get fucked up.
Yeah, she said that shit before she even called.
Mike, that's why I'm saying it's not an empty threat. It was a, like, hey, let me check you right quick and pull social rank and see if that alone will scare you into bending to my will, to my entitlement. Oh, that didn't do the trick? Let me get on the phone. And then you see how frustrated she got. Obviously, she was having some phone issues. The more frustrated she got, the louder she got and frantic she yelled, putting on the show. So she had no problems following through with that threat, knowing that it could lead to either him getting beat the fuck up or killed.
So let me ask this question, gentlemen. Very, very upfront question. So white people know when they call the police on us that we might get killed?
You'd have to be living under a rock to not know that.
At this point, they have to know that.
In one moment, like, for instance, my neighbor, who, you know, I've gotten into it with protecting him from himself or stopping him from getting into it with another neighbor. Me being from Fort Bragg, my dad, Vietnam vet, being around vets, I know how PTSD can just come on at any given moment. And that person needs love. They don't need to be, you know, combated with force. So I always try to intervene and help. Maybe that's why the good man above has put us together. I don't know. Regular Scott wouldn't agree with that. But anyway, my point is, this man has snaps, y'all. I'm talking about walking around with a shotgun, with a dog in one hand and a shotgun in another, walking around with a big-ass machete, walking around with a pickaxe, yelling, I'm going to kill whoever comes on my property, yelling, bring Trump here, I'll kill him next, yelling all kinds of crazy shit. And the neighbors here have not called the cops, and they've said to me, well, I know he's going through stuff, and he served this country, and I know he just needs some help, so I don't want to call the cops because I don't want them to kill him, and he's just having a mental episode, and he served his country gaining that ailment, and here it is now, he's just among the public, and no one's helping him, and he's not seeking help. So for them to acknowledge the fact that they're not calling the cops because they're afraid they're going to fucking kill this guy, let you know they understand what calling the cops means. It's a final, I'm done dealing with you. Now you're either going to get beat the hell up and they're going to teach you a lesson, or they'll just kill you.
So all these little barbecue Beckys and poolside Dans and South Park Susans and West Coast J, you guys are trying to tell me that they know that we could end up fucking dead? They can't know that. They can't be trying to weaponize the police.
So, Central Park Karen, one of the most telling points of this video, audio in this case, is listening to her firstly call the cops and say, an African-American man is threatening me and my dog's life. He's threatening us. And then, Paul's an actor. He can tell you when somebody's acting. But did you notice her voice change as if she was actually being harried?
Yes. I seen something. I was like, oh, listen to this bitch. Like, oh, yes. I did notice.
Mm-hmm. So
she raised the octaves.
As soon as she went up to that next level octave, then she knew precisely why she was doing what she was doing. Because the best part about it is that we've got the video evidence showing that she's doing it.
That she's a piece of shit. That's what we see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and even if she didn't, even if all the barbecue Beckys and all them don't know, well, okay, their intention, I'll just say that, Their intention isn't to get you murdered. They know that they're going to get you harassed. You're going to be fucked with. Like, they know that.
Your consequences are going to be much more severe.
Right. You're going to be in more shit whether you're doing nothing or not. Anything or not. You know that. So do you want me to call them or not? And then to piggyback what West Coast is saying, the other tale is when you hear the woman's apology and she mentions verbatim, I was just thinking of the police as my personal protection agency.
The fuck is that?
Like a bodyguard. You're that entitled in this country as a white woman that you think that police are customer service to where you can call them and I have any problem because I'm currently breaking the law and someone's calling me on it and they happen to be black, I need you to come deal with this person. That's essentially what she was inferring.
So remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about liberty being like black people were liberalized from slavery, but we didn't have freedom because freedom is the thing that white people walk around with. So, and we mentioned that you guys kind of disagree with that, but that's not the point. Then we mentioned that the average citizen could check our freedom.
And that's what Amy Cooper was trying
to
show Christian Cooper.
That is what I'm getting at. Amy Cooper. So this ended up as a situation where
liberty and freedom weren't. What was being challenged here was the liberty of freedom. See, the man who was recording, he was free to be there in the park to watch birds. He was free to say, ma'am, please follow the laws of the land and leash your dog. Okay? Now, she was free to not follow the law. She was free to be in the park as well. She just thought she had the liberty to do whatever the fuck she wanted, and that a black man does not have the liberty to tell a white woman that she cannot do what the fuck she wants. That's the difference. The liberty was being challenged. And then she backed that by saying, I will exploit the liberty of the freedom I have in this country and call the police and let them know it's a black man getting out of line with a white woman. And I will embellish it to the point of you're threatening a white woman. Knowing that
how much more free I am.
I'll show you how much more free I am and how much more liberty I am granted once they arrive. Now, you can't tell me that white woman at any point in her life, if we were to hook her up to the lie detector test and they ask her a question, ma'am, have you ever heard of Emmett Till? Do you know why Emmett Till was killed? Shades of Emmett Till. I do not believe with every fiber of my being that woman can answer that question no, and she'd be telling the truth. If that's the case, what the fuck were you doing in that park that day, ma'am? Do you know that's the same action that killed that boy? Wow. Same shit.
So, Hollywood, you mentioned the apology. West Coast J. So, Amy, I'm sorry. Amy comes out and apologizes because, of course, this thing hits social media and in maybe a day and a half has 25, 30 million views. Well, this lady's got a career. She's got a job. You know, I'm assuming that she lives some sort of a life. And she issued an apology. West Coast Jay, let's walk me through that. Walk me through that apology. Walk me through what subsequently happened to this lady since yesterday.
On Tuesday, the 26th, the woman produced a statement that says, I want to apologize to Chris Cooper for my actions when I encountered him in Central Park yesterday. I reacted emotionally and made false assumptions about his intentions when, in fact, I was the one who was acting inappropriately by not having my dog on a leash. When Chris began offering treats to my dog and confronted me in an area where there was no one else nearby and said, "You're not going to like what I'm going to do next," I assumed we were being threatened, when all he had intended to do was record our encounter on his phone. He had every right to request that I leash my dog in an area where it was required. I'm well aware of the pain that misassumptions and insensitive statements about race cause, and would never have imagined that I would be involved in the type of incident that occurred with Chris. I hope that a few mortifying seconds in a lifetime of 40 years will not define me in his eyes, and he will accept my sincere apology. So
I
that's
think we
what she
lost
said.
you, West Coast.
You said what?
We lost you for a little bit. Well, I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I had him for the whole time.
Oh, okay.
All right, good.
That's what she said.
So
now, since then, she has been fired. The dog has been taken. The people who gave her the dog took the dog back.
Right, it was an adoption agency, wasn't it?
Yep.
For that animal? Okay.
Yep.
So
Franklin Templeton is where she worked.
Franklin Templeton, yes. And of course, Black Twitter was there in full force to light their ass up.
Black Twitter is still at this point undefeated.
Defeated.
The irony of it all, she had the damn leash in her hand whole time.
Hollywood.
And they put it on at the end.
Yeah, and that's why the recording stopped. Chris actually stops the recording
when she leashed her dog.
She leashed the dog.
I'm waiting on the dude who does the animal voiceover comedic videos to do this one. I'm waiting to see, because that's going to be hilarious to me.
Tony Baker?
That's him. That's
Tony
the man.
Baker. Oh yeah, he's
with
funny.
Rams and everything. I need him to do that, because man.
Well, let me ask you this, because I asked West Coast for the apology for a reason. So West Coast kind of went through the apology and then the things that have subsequently happened to her. Why do you think she issued the apology? Do you think she was trying to, like?
I think that her representatives
herself?
or whoever she might have contacted or who's working with her may have told her that, hey, the guy you happen to be cussing out, he's a little prominent. Like, he works with like movie studios and he makes Marvel films. Maybe you should get ahead of this before it gets ugly. Yeah.
Definitely had some PR people step up and say, we're going to get ahead of this story. You know what? We're just going to head it off at the pass. We're going to guide the narrative.
Now, do you think it was her people or the people from, where'd you say she worked? Jackson and Hewitt or whoever? Where'd you say she worked? Franklin Templeton. Jackson Hewitt. Yeah. Do you think it was those people, or do you think like she actually had like her
I
own?
think, well, me being the conspiracy theorist that I am, I think that the white folks that are the powers that be came to her and said, look, you fucked with the wrong nigga. Okay? He got some white people that back him that got billions of dollars. And there's a lot of other, they're trying to drop a Black Panther too, and he's working on that one. This is just not going to look good for you. So this is what you got to do. Okay? You got to get you a sandwich. Okay? Put some bologna on it. Throw some mayonnaise on there. Take a bite of it on TV and say you're sorry. That'll come over.
Did it? I don't think it did her any favors.
The thing about it is, I think that with the era of Trump and his buffoonery constantly in the news, and people aren't getting desensitized from it. I think people are actually starting to, as the quote goes, wake up. And they're starting to hold people accountable for how you behave in the moment. It's people, they're tired of the, okay, we'll forgive you because you act like a complete fool and lost yourself in the moment. No, you didn't lose your fucking self. That's who you are. And she's being held accountable. She's not being allowed to escape from being held responsible. You know what I mean?
She is not being coddled in any way.
Well, remember, we talked about that a little bit with the Ahmaud Arbery case of like why there was so much social media backlash. Like, everybody's at home not doing shit. Like the whole country is aware of this.
That too. And people aren't easily able to just brush it off and go on about their lives because, hey, my kids got a homework assignment tonight and I don't know shit about no algebra. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever the case, or I got to pay this bill I'm late on, or my boss is going to be on my ass in the morning, or whatever the case. People aren't easily distracted right now because like everybody's at home.
Yeah. yeah. So pause this. So pause this situation. Pause the central park situation. We're gonna get back to it in a minute. But now we're gonna go a little bit. We're gonna go a little bit west to the state of Minnesota. That's how they say. That's how they say Minnesota in Minnesota. They say Minnesota. Minneapolis and St. Paul are beautiful cities, by the way. They really are. Speaking of Minneapolis, man, I don't even. This is just too sad to. So I sent you. Did both of you guys get a chance to watch the Instagram footage that I sent you guys earlier?
Oh man, I saw that. Yes. So much more.
So that thing was heavy, y'all. This is tough. So George Floyd, African American male. Apparently, he's like a attorney or civil rights leader or activist or something in the area. Well known in the community. He was. I guess this was a. I'm not sure if this was a traffic. They were pulling him out of his Mercedes, but I don't know if this started as a traffic stop or. I don't know if there's details out there like that says why he was actually being like why the officers were even talking to him, why they were pulling him out of his car initially in the first place.
Was it a deeper conspiracy? I don't know.
Yeah, now that part I don't know, but I know that like he ended up dead. Now the cops were saying he was resisting arrest. So initially we saw the frame from the left side of the car where at the end of it the cop had his like knee in the guy's neck as his neck was bent and like his face was facing the camera. But in the other video we could see the other side where it was like it kind of looked like all four cops were
it was three cops on him and one was standing guard.
Right, it kind of looked like three cops were like pinning him down. So that part we couldn't even see, but the cops were saying he was resisting arrest. Well, if you guys notice in the video, when they walked him by the camera, he was already in handcuffs. So I'm not right now. The four officers involved, and I don't know their names. West Coast, if they've released them, I'm sure you can share them. But I don't think they've released them. But the four officers have all been fired. And I imagine that criminal charges are coming down from, if not the FBI, then from the state or the local municipality, very very soon, because they were already fired. And that's
the mayor has called for criminal charges to be brought against the guy featured in the initial video. I hope that they charge all four of them instead of just one, but
they better. So that's, I just wanted to, and guys, listeners, once again, those videos are out there. They're all over IG, Twitter, Facebook. They're all over national news. I'm sure local news. Everybody's carrying this story of the Floyd murder. Because I don't even call this was a murder.
Pretty much.
No, not pretty much.
So,
this was a murder.
Yeah, this was a...
So let me correct a couple of things. One, no, he wasn't an attorney and he wasn't a prominent civil rights person. He was a dude from Third Ward, Houston, who moved to Minnesota to, quote, live his best life. He was a truck driver. He was chilling, but he apparently is a close friend of former NBA star Steven Jackson. They grew up together. And he said the only thing that's different between he and George Floyd was that he had more opportunity. He said, but the two things we have in common is that we're both from the bottom and both of our names will live forever.
Okay. I appreciate that. So jumping into it, when you saw, not only when and Hollywood, I'll start with you, but what were your, as you walked through this as you walked through these events yesterday and going into today, like what were your thoughts?
Man, I had so many. I immediately start back working on a script. I needed some kind of therapy to work that angst, that frustration, that anger, that need to want to do something, that urge I had to wish I was the guy standing there to just rush the cop. Hopefully, I might have got arrested, of course, and got my ass beat, but at least he'd be alive. All these thoughts were just going through my head. So, like, why didn't they do anything? Why just stand there? So many of them, it's so much went through my head, man.
Wow. I'm gonna tell you, like, I cried several times because I know that could have been any of us. There was nothing that this guy did. There's nothing that this guy did at all that made him like a special case. Like this could have been any of us.
Yeah, it could have been, me, you. I'm in the middle of selling a car right now, right? So I had to drive the car on bad tags, which, I can get a 10-day permit for, but I got to drive the car on bad tags or a good car to get the 10-day and, just inconvenience everything. So I just went ahead and sold it. I could have got pulled over. Cops could have pinned me down for just, 'cause that's the reason. My tags are bad. They could just fuck me up just because. And that would have been me.
West Coast, as you saw this yesterday, what were you thinking?
I've seen a lot of dead bodies, but I haven't actually watched anyone die. And in the past couple of weeks, I've had to watch people die.
What do you mean? You mean on camera?
On camera,
Yeah.
like the video. I've had to actually watch them die.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that, I cried. I did. Like, it's different when you hear about it or read about it. And one of the joys of social media is the ability to now show all the things that are actually happening. The fact that I had to, that's now with the third dude this month that I've had to watch die that's not okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to be with someone when they're passing away and being old or whatever. But men that are in the prime of their lives, or the men that are alive and well, should be healthy, alive and well, are no longer.
Wow. So my little brother, started to message me on Facebook, and I just want to share it because it was so, like, if you watch this video and you imagine this being your brother, it's heart-wrenching. It is really heart-wrenching, or your father, or but I couldn't even imagine this being my little brother. But he said, I just want you to know I would have had to have a shootout with the cops for this shit if this was you. And when I read it, the shit just broke my heart. Because for one, I know he meant it. And for two, I know that's not going to end up well for him. And shit, he got a whole family. And so I told a couple of friends of mine, like, these are the conversations that black brothers have to have.
In real life. Like, after you sent that, and I read through, and like, it was, like you said, it was heart-wrenching. because it's so accurate. It's so honest. It elicits such a visceral reaction. So my cousins, like I sent them the same IG footage you sent me, and I had a set of brothers who afterwards would the aftermath in Minneapolis. One brother was like, but we can't riot, we can't be throwing things, we can't be breaking windows, because that just makes us look like hooligans and thugs. When black people riot, we look like hooligans and thugs. When white people riot, they look like they're misguided. And his brother responded immediately. Nope, I'm glad they breaking. They need to break everything. They need to go find them cops and break their shit. Because I know that if that would have happened to you, I would be the one dead, not you.
I got, once again, and this ain't no, once again, I cannot hold back my emotions as we cover this shit. Like, this is our, like, so, and I said this last week. When we were talking about Joe Biden. And I said, we have been telling you guys what we want you to care about for a long time. When I said, well, this isn't that big of a deal to us, we don't care about this. You care about this, but the thing that I tell you should care about, you want to turn a blind eye to. This is that shit that we need you to fucking care about, America. Because we, just the black community, cannot change nor cannot stop this all on our own. This has got to outrage and gut wrench everybody for this shit to change. Because keep in mind, at first, just like in the Ahmaud Arbery situation, at first, the police department was defending these motherfuckers.
Because it's their indoctrination, man. We have to, it goes back to kind of what I said last week's show, or the week before. It's just like, you can't advertise how good something is or how something is a certain way and then realize, oh, that's wrong. But then don't spend the same amount of money educating people what is right. So all these years of indoctrinating minds and creating systematic ways to oppress people of color, it's got to be, we can make people care about shit, but the same indoctrination has to be reversed. It has to be given out the same way. The same programming, essentially. You have to reprogram, if that makes sense. It's years of this shit, man. And you can't just expect someone who's been hearing something all their life, and their grandmother, their mother, their grandmother's grandmother. Like, I went through this about my mom, and she may blush or be embarrassed if I said it, but mom, you said it. Okay, this is how you are. It may not look good to you in a reflection, but hey, this is what I'm saying every time you give it off, and everyone else sees it too. But even my mother is the reverse of that. Like she might not say it in public, but behind closed doors, she might be like, "Hey, don't trust that white boy as far as you can throw him. You know how they'll do you ultimately. This and that. Because think about this that happened in history. This precedent, this before you. It's not her trying to be malicious. It's just her trying to keep her black son alive, based on the shit that we're seeing every day in this month alone. Imagine what was going on in the 60s, 70s. So,
well, I think all this stuff was going on then. It's just now we have camera. We have camera.
Well, it was going on then, but there was the outrage didn't evolve to anything. So at least we have that. Because there was outrage.
Well, I think people were outraged back then.
They were outraged, but they didn't do a goddamn thing.
Yeah, the difference between then versus now is 1, the smartphone, 2, the social media reach of instantaneously people can see this happening.
That's true.
Like
And
Christian
I
and
don't
Amy
want to.
Cooper in Central Central Park rather. That shit was 2 days ago, and we have already had an apology or the video released, an apology of firing Christian back on the internet, telling people stop threatening this woman life. All of that's happened in 2 days.
Yeah, that's facts.
And a dog was repoed.
And the dog got
And the dog
repoed.
was
How you
repoed.
repo a dog, my G? Like,
GG.
So now, once again, I said we revisit Amy, and I touched this kind of in the interlude, but once again, and this is why I asked you guys the question. So you mean to tell me that white people actually know what could come of a situation where they call the police on a person of color, especially when they say that person of color just threatened my life? It is my opinion, and whatever, be upset. It is my opinion that Amy Cooper, in some type of rationale, some type of way, some thought, maybe in her conscious or subconscious, the evil part of her thought that she was going to get a George Floyd type of scenario with Christian Cooper.
I think deep down I don't think that she expected that. I think is that she knew she has that privilege and she used it as a threat.
She knows it's a possibility.
No, well, I know. Okay, I'm not saying that part is not true, but what I'm saying is her expectation of the conclusion. I do not think that woman ultimately was ready to stand there and watch this man be killed over her not leashing her dog. I honestly think that she knows that is a possibility, which is why she used it as a threat to control him. And that is just as criminal. Because if you're willing to use that privilege that you've been getting in that evil way, then you might as well stand there and watch them execute him. Because you're walking around wilderness at any given moment, and it don't just stop on when you want to call a cop when shit don't go your way. And at the park, it don't just stop there. It's in every aspect of her life. So that's why I say she's a piece of shit.
Well, when the cops come, the situation is going to get totally out of your control. You're not. What do you mean? You can't say she wasn't going to stand there.
And that's the fucked up thing, Money. I'm not advocating. Don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating her evil piece of shit ass at all. My point is, I'm just saying, just knowing human behavior, I'm thinking it was a threat that's backed by history. Now, did she really think in her mind, okay, I'm going to stand here, I'm going to prove this point to your punk ass today? No, she thought he was going to buck, but he didn't. He didn't. And I'm glad it didn't end up that way. But my point is, she is a piece of shit because she knew that could very well be the case. And it would get out of her control. So to even spout that out and put it out there, knowing how left it can go so fast over proving a petty ass point, you are the lowest piece of shit. You should be outcast from the society. Taking a piece of shit island. Let you fend for yourself.
So I have a proposal. West Coast Shay, let me know what you think about this. I think Congress, the United States Congress, should immediately make it a federal mandate on grounds of trying to perpetuate a hate crime when you falsely call law enforcement. Like, I feel like it should be, okay, maybe that's harsh. I feel like it should be on the same par level as an assault. When you call the police on a person of color for no reason.
It's not even about that, Money. It's already against the law to file a false police report.
Yeah, but that's not.
So they just need to enforce the goddamn laws that they already have.
But that's not harsh enough. That's not harsh enough.
Do you know the punishment for filing a false police report?
Because they're
trying to murder you.
Because they're still doing it. So obviously it's not harsh enough.
Well, because they're not enforcing it.
They're not being charged with.
That's what I'm saying. The police aren't enforcing that shit. Well, no woman should be able to say a man raped her and you send that man to prison for 10 years, then she admits she lied, and then nothing happens to her. That would stop women from lying about rape if you send her ass to jail for 10 years.
I agree, but that's a little bit off topic.
No, it's the same thing. Because if a person lies and says a black man or any person is trying to kill me, and you're lying and it's on camera, the same punishment this man would have gotten in court, you should be dealing with right now, and that should be enforced. That would stop people from even thinking, I'm going to say this black man's got a weapon and lying. That would deter that.
No, it's different because it's different in the way that like a hate crime is different from a regular crime. You have to judge intent. So so it's different. So if a woman says this man raped me, like she could do that to any man, any color, whatever.
Exactly.
If a woman says send the cops out here because this black guy's threatening me, her motivation is because he's black. So it's the same difference between like I can kill a motherfucker and I just go to jail for murder. I can also kill a motherfucker because I hate the color of their skin. That's where you get that's where hate crimes come from. That's why there's a more harsh penalty on them because your motivation is even that much more fucked up. So take now let's go one step further. And West Coast, I'll bring you in just a second. Let's say the cops do come.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, Mr. Cooper isn't murdered. He's just slapped with some sort of bullshit ass charge or whatever the case may be. Now Amy's ass is in court, lying some more through her fucking teeth about how she was this, that, and the third, and now he got charges against him, lose his job. So it just reminds me of the way the system is designed to be built. Now, West Coast, having said that, now I want you to chime in a little bit.
So punishment for filing a false report is up to a year in law, or up to a year imprisonment. But it truly depends on the jurisdiction.
Yeah, see, I don't like that. It needs to be federal.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said I think Congress should pass a law. I think Congress should pass the same way the federal government investigates all things that they think are motivated by a hate crime. I think these things should be motivated by that same team or those same type of teams.
Okay, so
I mean, I see where you're at with it, definitely, because
I understand where
she
you're
was
coming
definitely
from.
she
Now,
definitely
a hate crime,
used that.
A hate crime punishment up to 10 years if there's bodily injury or if such acts of intimidation involve the use of firearms, explosives, and fire. And anything involving kidnapping, sexual assault, or murder can be punishable by life in prison or the death penalty. Again, that's jurisdictional.
Yeah, I would like to see those types of things go to the federal level, because even as amazing as local municipalities are, once again, there are often local biases involved. Like they're like, I know this officer. I trained this officer. This officer trained my son. Type of like, no. Part of the issue is prosecutors don't want to prosecute these people because they're all friends. So that's when the either the state or the federal government has to come in and say, nah, we'll take this one off your hands. And I just think there needs to be a bigger body than. Because once again, local Minnesota police weren't ready to do anything with these 4 officers.
No, the mayor had to step up and say, no, you have to do something. Like there has to be something. Because they're waiting on cause of death and stuff like that to be able to decide on which charge to go for him and all that.
Sorry guys, it's tornadoes and thunderstorms and stuff.
Mother Nature trying to play us on top of all of this shit.
Bro, that's how
Mother Nature and white people.
That shit going. Hold on.
I think Money literally just got the duck and hide call from the city.
Right.
Okay, guys, I'm back. My bad. I had to stop that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Money, real quick.
Yeah.
Who do you think should be the person that is in charge of investigating and prosecuting said crimes? And when I say who, I mean specifically, what race and gender?
I mean, I don't care about the race and gender. I just want there to be a legislative body or a, so of course,
so the reason I'm asking you this is because
only people show color shit, in my opinion. I
don't see white men going after white women for this. I don't see a black man who, if he was the investigator, being taken seriously in courts. I don't see a black woman.
Black men. When you have FBI, we have FBI stamped to your chest. They pay you a lot of attention.
I hear what you're saying, but when you're judges,
when you have federal prosecutors stamped to your chest, they fucking listen.
Okay, so then that leads to a real simple question. Like, once you get to that, that's why I'm asking these things.
It has to be a minority in this country. I don't believe, or unless the track record of that white man has proved he is not biased. He can be objective.
Well, I disagree, only because the feds have divisions dedicated to this shit already. And I'm not.
Yeah, and their backgrounds are vetted. The feds don't bring in certain people who have ties to Deep South, Bible Belt, Ku Klux Klan. They're wanting to see, does this guy, what kind of activism has this guy done?
Right.
What kind of this?
But they're not color struck. They're not saying,
no.
So
he's vetted. Like, if he's a white guy, he's got to be vetted.
So I would think that's why I said the same division of law enforcement that handles hate crimes, I would like to see Congress pass a law that gives them jurisdiction over this type of stuff to at least investigate. That way, Amy's ass is aware that if I call the cops on this guy for threatening me because my motivation is really that he's black, it's not fucking the 3rd precinct of Brooklyn. It's gonna be the fucking feds here asking me questions.
She ain't gonna just lose a job and get a GoFundMe and get it hired at another place. No, I'm facing a hate crime with the feds.
Right, and the feds don't. We all know the feds do not fuck around. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I don't care what judge you're in front of, I don't care what color you are. If you have United States U.S. attorney on your shit, they paying attention. So all the feds bring so much more significance to an investigation or a charge like that it'll stop that shit dead in its tracks versus waiting for local Minnesota police to decide to ask Karen why she do that shit, like, because once again all that shit may very well be so I just think that's a step that we could take to help prevent that shit from happening. Because yes, it's already a crime to file a false police report. But if you are found to be guilty of filing a false police report under the pretense of like
it's racially charged, basically.
You hate a certain race, and then the feds, they'll stop that shit. Don't nobody want to hear this. And they open the door and they see them 3 letters. I promise.
Yo, nah, nigga, because I ain't opening the door. And I ain't trying to play that sleep shit neither. I'm out, motherfucker.
Don't nobody want to see
in.
3 letters.
The knock is just to let you know they there. They don't even care.
FBI. Oh no, you don't want them problems. But
I feel you.
I think so. West Coast, does that answer your question?
Well, I think you're right.
Yes. I mean, I see where you're coming from. I do.
I mean, the FBI did stop the Black Panthers and could have stopped the Klan, but they were infiltrated at some point in Congress level, so they didn't never go after them. So I do exactly see what you're saying, and it could be very effective based on the history that was said already.
Now, my problem then is the word infiltration.
Well, we all know. We all know that.
Proved it. They proved that the Ku Klux Klan infiltrated local government and law enforcement. Then they went on to the federal level and infiltrated the appellate courts. And they went on. They supposedly infiltrated the Supreme Court at one point in time. Mm-hmm. They've infiltrated politics. I mean, they even infiltrated the FBI. They had to basically have a whole internal investigation, and I think it was either the Secret Service or CIA, one of the two, had to help them find out who was the KKK member pulling strings in the FBI at one point in time. Like, the shit went deep, bro. Like, the infiltration.
I'm looking at hate crime numbers. Hate crime statistics. There are 16,039 participating law enforcement agencies, and this was as of 2018. 12.6% of them, 2026 agencies, reported 7,120 incidents. The remaining 87.4% of the agencies said that no hate crimes occurred in their jurisdiction. So, with those numbers, the overwhelming majority said it's not a hate crime. Mm-hmm. Some of those jurisdictions, though, had somebody who used the same privileges Amy Cooper did, and decided that I'm calling the cops on this black guy. That's just by pure just numbers. Just that had to have happened at least once, right? So where are we going to get these additional people to do what you're saying?
Don't know. That's a problem that Congress would have to solve. That's their job. I don't know where they would, like, to me, you don't need additional people. You just need to give that responsibility to the people that already do it. Now they're gonna be a little.
7.4% of those people already said did none of that happen.
Okay, well, still, and I would imagine that that's because every crime doesn't check out to be a hate crime, but you got to look at them.
And then there goes the infiltration aspect as well.
There's the word infiltration again. I don't think that what you're suggesting is feasible in this society.
Anything's feasible in all societies if you want it to be.
Well, anything's possible in all societies.
Anything's feasible.
I just don't think that what you're suggesting is feasible.
Unless there's a plan launched. It would need to be a well-executed plan launched and religiously followed.
Yeah, but it would have to start with, it's not something that we would see in our generation at all. Because it would have to start from the very beginning with a whole different indoctrination.
It's not that hard, guys. You're putting too much. That was just a side suggestion. It's not even like, all I'm saying is there needs to be a more stringent and thorough look at scenarios like this, especially when they end in the taking of the life of a person of color. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I believe our entire country needs to take a whole nother swing at how they handle shit like this. It needs to be zero tolerance. And every American citizen needs to have that notion in their mind. And it starts from the top. If our leaders do not set the tone, no one's going to give a damn about the shit. I mean, come on.
Well, I won't say no, because our leader has certainly set a tone that he doesn't give a shit about it. But nonetheless, every time you see one of the, and maybe that's the answer.
We know why he doesn't give a shit.
Hold on. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe the answer is it's privatized, because in every single one of these scenarios, where the mass majority of them, whether it was the dude that drove the truck for the county and he didn't want to help the Hispanic family, he was calling them Mexicans and all that type of stuff, like, the city fired him. The guy that Poolside Dan or whatever, the power company he worked for, fired him. This lady, they fired her. Barbecue Becky, she got fired. The girl that called the police on the 11-year-old delivering newspaper, she got fired. So South Park Susan, she got fired. So maybe the answer is people that are willing to do this. Maybe there's not a criminal penalty that you pay. Nope. Maybe there's a personal and professional penalty that you pay when people continue to bring this stuff to the light, and you fucking go to work on or you go to work on Monday and they tell you don't work here no more.
Right. Now here's why I brought up all of those hate crime numbers. The court of public opinion is ruining lives way more efficiently.
Right.
And so that's where I'm saying social media and the smartphone have changed the way that this whole thing is looked at. Because for all of those years in the 60s, 70s, when everything was happening, somebody in one part of the country, if they didn't turn the TV on, didn't know what was happening in the other part of the country.
Absolutely. And even still, if they did turn the TV on, they still didn't know. Because unless the story was right, unless the story was big enough, it didn't even make national news. So I could see
with the advent of something going viral, shit is happening immediately.
They couldn't see people not resisting. They couldn't see the person that was truly innocent of any crime that could result in murder. So now with the smartphones, we can see all that shit that's happening. As you know, we might not see what sparked it, but we see how the cops are handling it, and it's not like they could just tell us a story like they could back in the day.
Right.
As they're posing with these bodies hanging from trees and say, "Oh no, this guy raped fucking 3 kids and stole from this store and all this other shit." You know, they can't just pull that bullshit on us anymore.
Well,
no,
yeah,
it's legitimately social media is taking the banana out of the tailpipe,
and that is
everybody can see. It's like, no, look, like you kept giving us this. There's actually, because of you, I started going back to reading the companion pieces, and there's a companion piece that was written on GoDefyLife.com by Meg Berry.
It was really good.
It was really good, and it's called Dear White People, and it was
actually
written today.
It's dope as fuck.
Shout out to Meg.
It's a real simple breakdown of the video from just the perspective of just the
from
video.
A white woman, mind you, listeners.
From a white woman.
About a white woman.
It's interesting.
Meg is dope too. We're gonna have her on the show. She and I had these conversations about, corporate America and all that. Like she's a real deep writer. She's a real deep thinker. So we're definitely gonna have her on. But go check that out on Go Defy Life. It's out there. Dear White People.
Now the worst part about this is the people that we haven't covered, because I've already mentioned that I've now watched 3 different black men die in 3 different places in the last 3 weeks. You got Sean Reed in Indianapolis. You got Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. And now we got George Floyd in Minnesota. That I've literally, because of social media, watched their last breath.
That's real. We are literally being killed in the streets. And so, once again, I say, when a person of color tells you, we don't give a shit that Joe Biden said, if you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black. Because, hell, we think the same shit. Once again, we keep it in 100. We think the same shit. What we telling you we care about, and what we telling you should care about, is the fact that we get executed in the streets.
With little to no repercussions. very few of these things that we brought up that have been talked about, that have been documented, that have been shown, very few of them result in convictions.
That's right.
I mean, it's crazy when you can watch a video and see the public, the very same people who fund the goddamn paychecks of the men pinning someone down. They're pleading with those men to just let up off of his neck.
Let him up, man. Let him up.
Just let up. And then the fucking cop is leaning onto it like every bit of his neck. Like if he wanted to breathe, nah, you got another thought coming.
Dude, hands in his pockets.
Oh, he gives no.
Man. They said, well, why don't you put him in a car now? We tried that 10 minutes ago. As he's laying in cuffs, like, bruh, you could have tased that man long time ago, and he would have stopped. Quote unquote.
Stop. What he was
exactly. He wasn't doing shit, man. They just wanted to fucking kill that dude, man.
And this was a forger.
And what makes it so bad to see that. I think he was he was Asian, I want to say. He was an Asian cop, if I'm not mistaken. He literally, guarded them as they killed that man. Yes. No concern at all. He didn't even look over. He was just backing whatever this guy said was going on. And the other two that were holding him down, no one said, all right, man, let off of his neck. We got him. He's good.
It's blue code, like we said the other week.
But my point is it's not even about it's just you are, at the end of the day, you're a human being.
You're a human.
I live down the street from a fucking cop. I talk to this dude all the time. I talk to his wife all the time. They got 2 kids. They got 2 dogs, okay? They're humans. If someone fucks with one of their kids, they're going to be upset. If he's mowing his lawn and he runs over a stick and it pops up and hit him, he's going to fucking bleed just like I will. He's got to shit and sleep just like I do. You're a fucking human. Nothing I should do. I don't want to go to fucking jail. So in the midst of me not wanting to go to fucking jail, nothing I should do should cause you as a human being, to feel the need to take my life because I don't want to go sit in a cage, man.
Hey.
It's that simple. It's a simple, basic human being instinct of self-preservation. Because you wouldn't want me to roll up to your house and do to you any fucking way I wanted to, any way I wanted to see fit, and nothing no one could do till after the fact. You wouldn't want that to happen.
But dog, they don't see us like they don't see. What I'm saying is they don't see us as human beings. They don't see us as human beings. So they don't afford that. They don't afford that dignity to us. I would not. And this is just I couldn't see myself that angry at a person that I would do.
Have you ever been in a fight with somebody, Money, and then you end up hurting them so bad that you end up trying to help them?
Yeah. I've actually been in a fight with someone. I was like, damn, dog, I'm sorry.
That's just a basic human understanding.
But fighting is flight or flight.
It's just
fighting,
don't matter.
Fighting is self-defense.
Fight or flight, and you self-defense. But my point is, you self-defending yourself. Even if you self-defend yourself and you realize, damn, I could have just killed this nigga because I hurt him that bad. And you be like, bro, you all right? You good? you trying to help him out?
Yes.
That's the basic human understanding. Bro, you could have just took this man's life.
That is
even though you were defending yourself.
But that's a different trigger from this dude. He on the ground in handcuffs, Paul.
Enjoy that shit, bro.
He on the ground in handcuffs. It's 4 cops standing there. What can he do? He can't do anything to anybody.
Nothing, man.
As he steadily got his body weight, his knee in this dude. The dude is saying, "Do you finna kill me? Get off me. Let me up, please." Yo,
begging for someone to help him.
He was enjoying it.
He's killing.
He was enjoying that shit. He was enjoying the power he had over that dude.
Yep.
Man.
You look at his face. He was enjoying it.
And the guy even called him out. The bystander, he's like, "You're enjoying that shit." He's like, "Dude, I train at the gym I know what you're doing, and it's killing him. You know what you're doing. He told him that. He tried, but I mean, he could have rushed him. He could have, would have, should have. The cop could have just let his fucking knee up. What should have happened?
The cop just could have let his knee up.
I ain't blaming nobody but the cop.
Then you in a situation where you done rush the cops and now you got shot or whatever. So I get people saying
the reluctance. I get the reluctance.
I get people saying if you see the cops murdering me, don't record it. Yo, help me. But that help could also end up in the slaying of another human. Because at this point, here's what we know. That these men, these cops, these officers, whatever, they feel justified to do whatever it is that they're doing.
Did you see how they got in the cars and was just casual about the shit?
Did you see how they had to roll my man's dead or dying close to death body onto the truck?
He was limp as fuck onto that. They rolled him over like he was already just trash. And they were just casually talking like nothing happened. Like no one came over them to supervise and say, hey, what happened here? Why is this guy unconscious? Like nothing. And you can hear the people on the sideline saying, did they kill him? Just like my man West Coast, what was my man's name? And had the car, and he jumped out the car, and it was like at first he was on Facebook Live, and then somebody was like, shit, that was Sean. It was like shit, Sean Reed. That was like, yeah, did they just kill him? Like it's like this shit is happening in front of people's. I damn. I think I just watched someone die.
Like I'm literally watching people die.
Like I think I just watched this man get murdered in front of me.
You feel me? It is as potent and powerful as if you've ever seen any of the ISIS beheadings or any of the other. You are watching people die.
So, did you guys hear about the white guy that supposedly shot at some cops and they took him in alive? I need to find that article. It just recently happened.
I think I saw that.
Recent. Like this week recent. And he was like, they fucked him up. They beat him up and shit, but they didn't kill him.
He alive. Yeah.
And he shot a cop.
But for us, you could, you know, it used to be.
Every clip would have been emptied into that body that shot that cop.
It used to be maybe. Remember back like 4 years ago, it was like he was reaching for his wallet, but I thought it was a gun. Or yes. He had a brush. I thought it was a gun. Yes. He had a cell phone. I thought it was a gun. His hat fell. I thought it was a gun.
Some Skittles.
Yeah, I thought it was a gun. Like it used to be, I at least thought it was a gun. Now it's like it's just these dudes. They don't have nothing in their hands. They have nothing. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But this is weird. It's not okay. Like the fact that we have a whole show about black men getting killed, but then if you go to Anything, Everything, and Nothing, every week they got a new Black Folk Blue Ain't For You. Then you go over to Defy Life, they got a whole different one than we talking about. Like every day, every week, it's something. It has to stop.
It's got to stop. Yo.
So how does it stop?
I think we need to try Malcolm's approach.
No, we can't try.
Well, Minnesota did that shit. Minnesota went ham sandwich.
They did. That's why I said that, because I wanted somebody to mention that.
Mm-hmm. Minneapolis,
right? Y'all thoughts on that?
They gon'.
You know, they were throwing bricks and rocks at cop cars. They were like backing the cops up. Supposedly they were standing outside the officer's house. Supposedly, reports are coming in. They were like, it was a mob of people outside the officer's house. The guy that was enjoying it, the main guy kneeling on the neck, and supposedly he had ordered food throughout the day 3 different times. And when the delivery driver arrived to the mob, the angry mob greeted the delivery driver, let him know why they were there, who they were there for, and every single driver refused to take the food in to him.
Well.
They're starving out and supposedly standing outside. It's like camping out.
I think that you cannot fight injustice with injustice. But, and I can't remember the leader that said it, but if you don't address the inequalities and civil unrest, eventually civil unrest will happen. So, like West Coast Jay said, this has to stop. Otherwise, you're heading. Now, remember, Dylan Roof, the other dude, they actually said they were trying to start the race war, like the race war that they know is coming.
The race war that they know is coming.
So, we're hopeful. Like, I'm hopeful that I don't have to fight a race war. I don't want my kids to. I don't want that. Like, that sounds very, very violent. And I'm hoping that we continue to expose this. We can, and we've touched on this, but we've got to continue to expose this. People, the majority of the people, have continued to have to be appalled, and this has to hit them somewhere where they never thought this would hit them before. And I don't mean us. I mean white folks across this country. Because it's not going to stop until the majority of people demand that it stops. But yeah, Minnesota right now is off the fucking chain.
They going ham sandwich.
Minnesota is rioting like LA did over Rodney King.
Rodney King. That's right.
And I hope they get that situation. Like I said, Minnesota's a beautiful city. I hope they get that. I hope they can get this squared away and under control and people to be safe. But
because it's going to fuck down. Okay?
I can tell you, people are tired of this shit. Black people are tired of this shit.
I'm looking at Facebook right now, and people are still out. It's nighttime. They still out doing shit, like tearing shit up. Well, it's white people tearing shit up right alongside black people. They letting off fireworks, marching through the street. You know what I'm saying? It's shit's crazy.
Yeah, and we'll keep you, listeners. We'll keep you posted. I'm sure. Like if you weren't aware, get out there and be aware.
But don't take your ass out there and protest because you might get your ass into some shit. Be safe, okay?
Definitely be safe. Y'all wanna. We gotta get ready to shut it down. But y'all wanna tie this up at all?
I mean, what else is there to say?
It's just sad, man. Like, I spoke to JR earlier, and I told him, I was like, yeah, we definitely might get into this topic. He's like, man, we're 200 shows deep. We've been screaming about this. We've been passionate about this. It's like, how many more shows do we have to broadcast before this shit stops happening?
I'm saying.
As many, and I will answer and say as many as it takes.
Yeah, man. It's a sad day in this country for black people. I can say that. It's not just today, but just where we are.
It's a sad state of affairs for black people.
Sad state, man. Definitely. Not only are the community has just been hit by such a horrible economic turn with the coronavirus, and just throughout history, so many things that's happened to our community. It's just sad that we're still here. And just one thing I can tell you is that the spirit of our people, we are resilient. We steadfast.
Resilient as fuck.
We stand strong and we face things head on. And it has made us strong, and it's making us stronger. So let's just continue to be that, and definitely keep a level head about ourselves. Education is the key, definitely, for one thing, to make any change. If you're going to indoctrinate yourself with some knowledge.
No doubt. Those are facts.
Please,
that's just
educate.
on it. Definitely.
Well,
keep your cool.
Listeners, No doubt. Listeners, hey, we appreciate it. We we apologize that we didn't kind of stick to our normal format, but this was kind of like a special news report type of show, and I definitely appreciate you allowing us to bring it to us. Definitely feel like it's fire. We definitely want to get this content out here to let y'all know this thing been on our hearts, man. Without too much further ado, West Coast Jay, do me a favor, man. We can't stay on all night, so go ahead and zip us up for me, man.
Well, I mean, with the show we just had, I guess the only thing I can do is quote Hamlet. Like, there's something rotten in the state of, in this case, Minnesota, but something rotten in the state of Georgia, something rotten in the state of Indiana. The next line after that, that's one of the most famous lines in Shakespearean history, but the next line after it, Horatio says, "Heaven will direct it." So, if you are spiritual, you believe in God, you believe in humans, then please act in a godly way. Please, I'm now imploring that you be excellent to one another and treat people the way that you want to be treated.
No doubt. There you go. You heard it there first, man. Hollywood Paul, man, do me a favor, brother. Go ahead and zip us up.
Well, all I want to say to anybody that's listening, or if anybody years later goes back to hear this show after we blow up, I want you to know that I love you all, definitely, from the bottom of my heart. I might not even know you, but just the fact that you're alive and on this planet, and we're both human beings, and if all else failed and we're the only two left, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be there for you, and I'm going to love you. So before we have to get to that part, let's love each other now while things are still good, and spread love to everybody else around us. And with that being said, you get in some shit. We all know how this society is. We know how this world goes. We know Karen's going to call the cops. We know they're going to want to see the manager. Keep a cool head about yourselves. Mind your vocabulary. Kill them with your knowledge. Kill them with your intelligence. Get even and seek revenge with all the information that you possess. Because unless you're ready to bear arms and go toe-to-toe and fight fire with fire, you need to throw some water on that shit.
No doubt. Deep. Hey, man. I echo my co-host 1,000%. This is a heavy show. But we got heavy things happening. And this, everything touches. Everything touches. The systemic system, the foundation that our society was built upon, the stereotypes that are out there, politics, economic factors, social factors, where we live, how we live, the government, voting, it all matters. It all education, it all touches. Everything touches. And so we all touch one another. I don't care if you hate my guts because of the color of my skin. At some point, our fiber touches. So just try to remember that in everything that you do. This is a heavy show, man. Episode 17, Unsupervised Spinoff Podcast. I love these two guys, man. You already know what I'm going to say, man. We got to get out of here. We'll be back next week. Get back to the regular scheduled programming. And you already know, man. If you're not rocking with Defy Life, what's your life about? We out.
If you're into all things comics, you have to check out Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, your go-to podcast for comic and superhero discussion, debates, polls, and more. Tune in as Regular Scott and Ozzy Killmonger chat about your favorite comic topics, and you never know who may show up for an open mic, or what will be next on their favorite One Gotta Go. Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, every Sunday, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network.